Welcome to the Leading with AI podcast, the show where we take a deep dive into compelling topics to give you the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight.
Glad to be diving in today.
Today, we're unpacking a truly vital concept for every leader navigating our rapidly evolving world, starting with a powerful hook right from the book we're exploring. The best leaders don't guess better, they decide better.
That's a quote that really gets to the core of what we're exploring, isn't it? Our deep dive today is all about becoming the augmented executive, drawing extensively from Chapter 13 of an absolutely essential book, Intelligent Advantage by Ryan Beckett. Our mission today is, to help you understand how artificial intelligence isn't just a tool for automation anymore. It's actually a fundamental force reimagining how businesses operate, innovate, and, compete.
Exactly. We're going to explore what it truly means to be an augmented executive. A leader whose innate capabilities, things like strategic foresight, creativity, and that essential decision-making acumen, are significantly amplified.
Amplified, yeah. Through the intelligent and purposeful integration of AI.
Right. We'll focus on three core pillars. First, we'll dive into building AI fluency within leadership, which is crucial.
Absolutely critical.
Second, we'll unpack how to leverage AI for superior decision intelligence across the entire enterprise, not just in pockets.
And across the whole thing. Yeah.
And third, we'll cover the crucial awareness needed to navigate potential biases and the ethical challenges that definitely come with this powerful technology.
You can't ignore those.
Not at all. This deep dive is custom tailored for you, the learner, if you're seeking a shortcut to being well-informed. We'll have surprising facts, practical insights, hopefully keep you hooked and empowered without feeling overwhelmed.
That's the goal. Ready to jump in.
Let's do it. Okay, let's unpack this foundational idea first. The whole conversation around AI, it's profoundly shifted, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's no longer just about automating those, repetitive tasks or finding little efficiencies here and there.
Right, though AI is great at that too.
It certainly is. But the book really drives home that this is about fundamentally reimagining how businesses operate, how they innovate, how they understand and engage with customers, and ultimately how they compete and win.
It's about embedding AI into the very DNA of your strategy and operations, not just treating it as an add-on.
Exactly. And what's truly fascinating here, maybe even a bit startling, is the stark dichotomy the book presents.
Yeah, so?
Well, companies that truly grasp this profound shift, the ones embedding AI at their core, they aren't just going to survive, they will thrive. We're talking sustainable growth, fostering resilient innovation, securing decisive market leadership.
Okay, that's the upside. What's the other side?
Conversely, those that treat AI as sort of a peripheral concern, maybe just another IP project or something they'll get to later, they truly risk becoming, and this is a quote, relics of a bygone era.
Wow. Relics of a bygone era. That's stark.
It is. Think of those meticulously crafted static strategies just gathering dust on a shelf. Monuments to a world that, just doesn't exist anymore. It's a powerful, almost unsettling image, really.
It really is. And we're already seeing this gap widening, aren't we? The book points out that the early adopters, they're already demonstrating tangible benefits.
Oh, definitely.
And it's creating this widening gap between the AI haves and the AI have-nots. This isn't some future prediction. It's happening right now.
It absolutely is, in real time, across industries. And this journey into what the book calls the age of intelligent advantage, it's not passive. You don't just drift into it.
No, it requires deliberate action.
Exactly. It demands more than just tech upgrades. It really calls for a fundamental shift in leadership perspective, in accountability, and crucially, in action.
So even though the tech itself, the algorithms, the data architecture can be really complex.
And they are, for good reason.
The core message for leaders is actually quite simple.
Surprisingly, starkly simple. It must be led from the top. The strategic adoption, the successful integration into the enterprise, it has to come from leadership.
So no delegating the AI revolution then. The C-suite can't just pass this off to the IT department and wait for a report.
Absolutely not. The book strongly emphasizes that executive ownership of AI is, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
It's about guiding the transformation, fostering an AI-conscious organization right from the very highest levels.
Because if the leadership at the top isn't fully bought in, if they aren't leading the charge with a clear vision,
then the whole initiative, no matter how technically brilliant the teams might be, is fundamentally at risk. It's got to be a top-down transformation, not just some bottom-up experiment bubbling away somewhere.
All right, so if it has to be led from the top, How do leaders who, let's face it, aren't necessarily data scientists or engineers, how do they actually get fluent in AI? How do they get comfortable enough to lead?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
And the book really stresses systematic investment in AI education, specifically for leadership.
So, not deep technical dives.
No, not about coding or the intricacies of model architecture. It's about dedicated learning programs designed for non-technical executives and, importantly, board members too.
Okay, what do these programs cover?
They cover core AI concepts, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, computer vision, generative AI. But crucially, it's about how they work at a high level, understanding their strengths, and just as importantly, their inherent limitations.
Got it. Concepts, not code.
Exactly. And even more critically, these programs really delve into the strategic implications of AI. They don't just explain the tech in isolation.
They connect it to the business.
Precisely. They explore how AI is transforming industries, what new competitive advantages it unlocks, and how it enables entirely new business models. They highlight concrete AI use cases and value drivers with real-world examples, potential ROI. Plus, data fundamentals, crucial ethical AI considerations, and even insights into the AI talent landscape. It's all about practical, strategic understanding.
Okay, so what forms can this education actually take? Is it just workshops?
The book outlines several effective approaches, actually. It's not one size fits all. You've got things like executive AI academies.
Okay, what are those?
These are pretty intensive, often cohort-based programs. They combine expert lectures, real-world case studies, interactive workshops, and peer learning, maybe over several weeks or even months, designed for deep immersion.
Right, for a serious deep dive. What else?
Then there are board AI boot camps. These are much more condensed sessions, really focused specifically on the board's oversight roles, things like AI strategy, risk, ethics. Gartner research keeps highlighting the growing expectation for boards to be actively involved and literate here.
That makes sense. Board oversight is critical.
Definitely. Then you have more accessible options like curated learning resources, just providing access to high-quality online courses, insightful articles, comprehensive industry reports, targeted books like Intelligent Advantage itself.
So self-paced learning, too.
Exactly. And finally, expert briefings and guest speakers, bringing in internal or external AI thought leaders to brief executive teams and boards on emerging trends, best practices. Basically keeping them plugged into the latest developments.
That all sounds great for individual learning, but the book also emphasizes fostering collective learning, right, across the leadership team.
Yes, absolutely. This shouldn't be a solo journey. It really needs to be a shared understanding. One particularly great idea suggested is creating executive peer learning circles or AI councils.
Tell me more about that.
Well, imagine a confidential, high-trust space where executives can openly discuss their AI learning journey. They can share challenges they're facing, explore potential applications for their own divisions, and really collectively build a deeper understanding. An internal AI council, for example, can become a powerful steering committee, prioritizing initiatives, championing AI literacy across the whole organization.
I like that. Peer support and shared strategy.
And this is where the, perhaps slightly surprising but highly effective concept of reverse mentoring comes in.
Reverse mentoring. Senior leaders learning from junior staff.
Exactly. Senior executives, with all their business acumen, can learn a tremendous amount from more junior, digitally native employees. These folks often have an intuitive grasp of new technologies and digital behaviors. Pairing them up can be incredibly effective in bridging knowledge gaps.
That's a fascinating idea. What else?
The book also suggests creating opportunities for leaders to spend dedicated time with their data science teams, maybe visit innovation hubs, or even participate in day-in-the-life experiences.
Actually see AI being built and deployed.
Yes, to really demystify the technology and gain practical, on-the-ground insights. It breaks down those silos between business and tech.
I love that. Makes it less abstract. And to really cement that shared understanding, what about language? Terminology can be a barrier?
It absolutely can, which is why the book suggests developing a must-know AI lexicon for leaders.
A glossary, basically.
A concise glossary, yeah. Not every technical term under the sun, but the truly essential ones: algorithm, model training, bias, API, supervised versus unsupervised learning, generative AI. Tailored specifically for non-technical leaders, it just ensures everyone is speaking the same foundational language when discussing AI strategy. Prevents misunderstandings, fosters clearer dialogue.
Okay, so we've covered education and shared understanding. How do you embed this AI thinking into the actual day-to-day strategic processes?
Good question. Moving from learning to doing. The book strongly recommends embedding AI thinking directly into existing strategic processes. One really key proactive step is mandating AI impact assessments for major strategic initiatives.
An AI impact assessment, what does that involve?
It means requiring all major new strategic initiatives or significant investment proposals to explicitly consider how AI could potentially enhance them. What data would be needed, new or existing? What are the potential AI-related risks, technical, ethical, operational, and what AI capabilities would be required to actually execute successfully?
So it forces the AI question right at the beginning.
Exactly. From the outset, not as an afterthought. Another powerful lever the book identifies is integrating AI fluency into your existing leadership development programs and even performance metrics.
Tie it to performance.
Yes. By doing this, organizations signal unequivocally that AI readiness is a strategic imperative. It's about incorporating AI fluency and related leadership competencies directly into development programs and executive performance expectations. Makes it a measurable, valued skill.
That sends a strong message.
It does. And for a more, maybe immersive and inspirational experience, the book suggests visiting AI-mature organizations and ecosystems. These study tours to recognize AI leaders or innovation hubs, think Silicon Valley, Toronto, London, can provide immense inspiration.
See it in action.
Exactly. See what good looks like in practice. Seeing AI not just in theory, but in full operational flow, transforming real businesses. They can be incredibly motivating and clarifying for leaders.
Okay, let's drill down into the core competencies of true AI fluency. The book goes into this in Chapter 14. First up is strategic framing of AI initiatives. What does that really mean?
It's really about the ability to connect the dots, to link AI possibilities directly to your overarching strategic objectives, your market positioning, your core value proposition. It means moving beyond just thinking AI is cool tech.
To understanding it as an enabler of specific business outcomes.
Precisely. And this involves several critical subcompetencies. You need to be able to link AI to value creation, articulating exactly how a proposed AI initiative will create tangible value. Is it revenue growth, cost reduction, risk mitigation, better customer experience, new products? There needs to be a clear line of sight to measurable business impact.
Not just vague promises.
No. You also need prioritization based on strategic impact. Effectively assessing which AI opportunities offer the greatest strategic leverage for your business, avoiding the trap of just chasing the latest shiny AI trend.
Makes sense. Focus is key.
And it also means understanding AI's role in the competitive landscape, analyzing how your competitors are using AI, identifying potential disruptions they might cause, and figuring out how you can use AI to build your own competitive advantage.
Knowing the playing field.
Yes. And finally, you must be capable of defining success metrics for AI projects that go beyond just the technical stuff, like model accuracy.
Right. Metrics that matter to the business.
Exactly. Things like increased customer retention by X% or reduced operational costs by Y%. Business impact metrics.
Okay, strategic framing is number one. What's next? This seems really important, especially for non-technical folks.
It is maybe the most critical competency for non-technical executives. Asking the right questions.
Okay, so you don't need to build the model, but you need to know what to ask about it.
Precisely. You need to know what questions to ask to uncover hidden assumptions, identify potential risks, and ensure that AI initiative is actually aligned with your strategy. This is where your leadership truly augments the AI.
So what kind of questions are we talking about?
The book brilliantly breaks these down into categories. First, questions about purpose and value. Things like, what specific business problem are we really trying to solve with this AI? What's the expected measurable ROI? How does this align with our core strategy? Are there simpler, non-AI solutions we should consider first?
Okay, foundational stuff. What about the data?
Critical. Questions about data. What data do we need? Where will it come from? Is it accurate? Is it representative? Are there potential biases embedded in this data? And how will we mitigate them? How will we govern this data? Ensure security, protect privacy. How will we keep the data fresh?
A lot to unpack there. Then the model itself.
Yes. Questions about the AI model and its limitations. Okay, how does this thing work at a high level? Can someone explain it simply? What are its known failure modes? Where might it go wrong? Can it explain its reasoning, especially for important decisions? Is it interpretable? How will we monitor its performance over time?
Understanding the black box as much as possible.
Exactly. Then, questions about implementation and operations. What are the technical prerequisites? What infrastructure do we need? How will this integrate with our existing systems? How will it impact our employees? What training is needed? What are the ongoing costs, maintenance, support? What's our contingency plan if it fails?
Practical realities. And finally, ethics.
Absolutely crucial. Questions about ethics and risk. What are the potential ethical risks here? Could it discriminate? How are we ensuring compliance with regulations like GDPR or the EU AI Act? What level of human oversight is appropriate? What mechanisms are in place for addressing potential complaints or appeals if someone is negatively impacted?
Wow, that's a comprehensive list. The ability to ask those thoughtful, probing questions really does seem like a core leadership skill in the AI age.
It's a hallmark of an AI fluent leader. It turns a potential black box into a strategic asset you can actually manage.
Okay, so framing, asking questions. What else constitutes fluency?
Another core competency is understanding basic ML types, model trade-offs, and limitations. Again, not about becoming an engineer.
But having a conceptual grasp.
Exactly. A foundational grasp of core concepts like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. And knowing what NLP, computer vision, and generative AI generally do, it's about knowing conceptually what they are, and maybe more importantly, when you might use which type.
And understanding the trade-offs involved.
Yes, that's critical. For instance, the common trade-off between accuracy versus interpretability. A really complex AI model might be incredibly accurate, but it could be a total black box, impossible to understand why it made a certain decision.
Whereas a simpler model might be easier to understand but less accurate.
Right. And as a leader, you need to weigh that trade-off depending on the application. Is accuracy paramount, or is explainability critical for trust or regulation? Then there's precision versus recall in classification tasks.
Explain that one.
Okay, imagine a system detecting fraudulent transactions. High precision means it rarely flags legitimate transactions as fraud, few false positives. High recall means it catches nearly all the actual fraudulent transactions, few false negatives.
Ah, okay, so you might have to balance those. Catching all fraud might mean accidentally blocking some good customers.
Exactly. You need to decide which error is more costly for your business. There's also bias versus variance in model complexity.
Bias and variance.
Think of it in sales forecasting. Bias is like your AI model consistently underestimating sales by 10% every quarter. It's predictably wrong in one direction. Variance, on the other hand, is when it's all over the place, sometimes wildly optimistic, sometimes way too pessimistic.
Okay, so one's a systematic error, the other is inconsistency.
Right. And as a leader, understanding which problem your AI is struggling with is crucial because the fix and the impact on your decisions is entirely different. And finally, the practical trade-offs between speed, cost, and accuracy when deploying AI. You might not need perfect 99.9% accuracy if getting a reasonably good answer very quickly is more valuable, for instance.
So many factors to balance. And just as important as knowing what AI can do is having a realistic understanding of its inherent limitations. This is key. AI still lacks true understanding or, common sense. It recognizes patterns, but doesn't understand context like humans do.
Precisely. It excels at pattern recognition within the data it was trained on. But it doesn't possess genuine contextual understanding or consciousness. It finds correlations, often very effectively, but not necessarily causation.
Which means it can make mistakes if the real-world situation changes slightly from its training data.
Exactly. It can make incredibly confident but fundamentally incorrect decisions if the context shifts even slightly outside what it's seen before. That's a critical limitation leaders must grasp.
This leads perfectly into a significant practical challenge the book highlights: the communication gap, the gap between business leaders and the highly technical AI and data science teams.
Yes, the language barrier, essentially. This is where the concept of the AI translator or analytics translator becomes so important.
People who speak both languages, business and tech.
Exactly. Individuals with unique hybrid skill sets, fluent in AI concepts, fluent in deep business strategy. Their critical role is to bridge that gap, facilitate effective communication, ensure AI initiatives are not just technically sound, but well-defined, strategically aligned, and effectively implemented.
That sounds like a vital role, and it frees up others.
It can. For instance, it might liberate HR professionals from getting bogged down in technical project details, allowing them to focus more on the strategic human capital implications, the change management, fostering an engaging employee experience around AI adoption. AI itself can also help HR by automating routine tasks, enabling more personalized employee support, or even assisting in fairer, data-driven talent decisions by helping mitigate unconscious human biases in things like screening resumes or identifying candidates for promotion. #3, AI augmented decision-making across the enterprise.
Okay, so once leaders are fluent, once that communication bridge is built, what's the ultimate goal? It's not just understanding the tech for its own sake, right?
Absolutely not. It's about making dramatically better decisions. Because in this new era, the real battle isn't just for market share anymore. It's increasingly for informational advantage.
Hmm.
Who can sense, interpret, and act on information faster and more effectively.
And the book goes deep into how AI is fundamentally redesigning the traditional planning process.
It really does. It's moving us from that old model of, say, annual environmental scanning to something far more dynamic, continuous, and insightful.
Tell me about that shift. What does environmental scanning look like with AI?
Well, that foundational phase of strategic planning, which was traditionally periodic, maybe annual, often static, relying on market research reports that were probably outdated by the time you read them.
Right, looking in the rearview mirror sometime.
Exactly. That transforms into a continuous real-time process. AI systems become the organization's ever-vigilant 247 eyes and ears
Wow. Eyes and ears on what?
on everything relevant. They continuously monitor and ingest data from a vast, disparate array of external sources: global news feeds, social media chatter, emerging regulatory filings, competitor website changes, financial market movements, patent databases, scientific publications, even alternative data like satellite imagery tracking shipping containers or analyzing retail foot traffic.
That's a massive amount of data, far beyond what humans could track.
Immense. And it's not just collecting it. Advanced NLP, computer vision, machine learning algorithms sift through this deluge, identifying subtle emerging trends, rapid shifts in customer sentiment, early warning signals of competitor moves, potential technological disruptions, often long before traditional manual methods would ever pick them up.
So it's like having a superhuman radar system for your entire business environment.
That's a great analogy. And this allows for things like dynamic and contextualized SWOT analysis instead of those static annual rituals.
That often felt like box-ticking exercises.
AI contributes to a continuously updated understanding. It can rapidly analyze internal operational data to pinpoint weaknesses, maybe bottlenecks in your supply chain, and identifies strengths, like pockets of unique talent expertise you didn't even realize were strategic.
And externally.
Concurrently, AI-powered market sensing surfaces, new external opportunities, maybe an underserved market segment opening up or evolving threats, like a disruptive technology emerging from a startup, much faster and with far greater evidence than human teams alone could muster.
So the SWOT becomes a living document, almost.
Exactly. And the output of all this incredible intelligence isn't just a flood of raw data or overwhelming dashboards that nobody looks at.
Good, because that's often a problem.
Right. The book talks about automated, personalized, and predictive intelligence briefings. AI synthesizes the relevant signals into customized briefings, tailored for specific leaders based on their concerns or areas of responsibility.
So the CEO gets a different briefing than the head of sales.
Potentially, yes. And these briefings go beyond just summaries. They offer contextualized insights, maybe highlighting complex second-order effects of a trend, and offering predictive assessments. This trend has an 80% chance of impacting our market within 12 months. This ensures you receive timely, actionable intelligence, almost like having a dedicated strategic analyst working just for you 24/7.
That changes the game for strategic foresight. And you mentioned how this impacts specific roles, like the CFO.
Yes, the CFO role is a prime example of this augmentation. The CFO evolves beyond just traditional historical reporting and compliance. They become an AI-augmented CFO, actively partnering in enterprise strategy, innovation, value creation.
So less backward-looking, more forward-looking.
Precisely. They shift from historical reporter to predictive strategist, leveraging AI-powered forecasting, sophisticated scenario modeling, predictive analytics to provide those forward-looking insights, illuminating what could happen under various conditions, and importantly, what should we do to optimize for the best outcomes.
They become more strategic advisors.
Absolutely. They move from cost controller to value architect, using sophisticated AI analytical tools to understand the true drivers of profitability across the business and guide strategic reallocation of capital towards opportunities with the highest potential return.
And risk management.
They go from compliance overseer to risk navigator, employing AI for rapid anomaly detection in financial transactions, predictive risk modeling across financial, operational, strategic, even ESG risks, and enabling continuous monitoring rather than periodic checks.
What about data itself? Finance often holds the keys.
They shift from data gatekeepers to insights enabler, championing the democratization of data-driven insights across the organization, fostering a data-literate culture, ensuring the finance team acts as a true strategic business partner, not just a reporting function.
And they need to embrace the tech themselves.
Yes. from technology consumer to digital transformation champion, getting involved in strategic tech investment decisions, championing the overall digital and AI transformation, and critically, from talent manager to architect of the future finance workforce, leading the charge in upskilling and reskilling their own teams in data science, advanced analytics, and AI literacy. The finance function of the future looks very different.
That is a profound shift for such a critical function. Okay, let's pivot to operational efficiency. We've had Lean, Six Sigma, focusing on human-driven optimization. How does AI change that picture?
It's a fundamental redefinition. AI introduces what the book calls intelligent autonomy. We move beyond optimizing existing human processes to creating AI-driven, self-learning, and self-optimizing systems that operate with, frankly, unprecedented complexity, speed, and adaptability.
So it's not just doing the same thing slightly faster.
No, it's doing things differently, often autonomously. This redefinition involves several key shifts. We move from reactive to predictive and prescriptive, meaning AI enables forecasting equipment failure before it happens, or anticipating surges in customer demand before they hit, and then proactively recommending optimal production adjustments or logistics reroutes to prevent problems rather than just reacting to them.
Okay, getting ahead of issues.
Exactly. We also shift from periodic manual adjustments to continuous automated optimization. Imagine AI-enabled systems in a manufacturing plant learning and optimizing processes 24/7, making real-time micro-adjustments to temperature, pressure, flow rates. Constant tweaking for peak efficiency without needing human intervention for every change.
And this isn't just within one factory or department?
No, that's another key shift. From localized optimization to system-wide excellence, AI's ability to analyze vast interconnected data sets allows for holistic optimization across an entire supply chain, dynamically balancing production across multiple plants based on real-time factors like demand signals, material availability, shipping costs, optimizing the whole system, not just the parts.
That's a huge leap in complexity.
It is. And processes themselves change. We move from fixed processes to adaptive learning systems. Think about AI-powered customer service routing. It doesn't just follow fixed rules, it learns which agents are best suited for which types of inquiries, or even learns to resolve common queries autonomously, constantly improving its performance based on customer satisfaction scores or resolution times.
So the process itself gets smarter over time.
Precisely. And finally, it allows us to operate at a different scale, from human-limited scale and complexity to machine-powered scale. AI excels at managing and optimizing systems of far greater magnitude and intricacy than humans ever could think. Global e-commerce platforms, processing millions of transactions, complex financial markets, or optimizing energy grids or traffic flow across entire smart cities.
The book highlights some specific use cases and operations, right, from Chapter 12.
Yes, several key ones that are rapidly becoming mainstream. Predictive maintenance is a huge one.
We touched on that, predicting breakdowns before they happen.
Exactly. AI models analyze real-time sensor data, temperature, vibration, acoustics, oil analysis from machinery to detect subtle anomalies that precede failure. This minimizes unplanned downtime dramatically. The book cites McKinsey data suggesting 30–50% reductions in downtime, 10–40% lower maintenance cost. That's massive for any capital-intensive industry. Imagine a factory floor where machines almost never break down unexpectedly.
Game-changing. What about digital twins?
Another powerful application. Digital twins are dynamic virtual representations of physical assets like a jet engine, a wind turbine, or even an entire factory or processes. They're continuously fed real-world data from sensors.
So a virtual copy that mirrors the real thing?
Yes, in real time. And AI uses this virtual model to simulate performance, predict issues, and optimize operations. It aids immensely in product design. Engineers can test countless virtual prototypes. It helps optimize complex processes, and it allows for remote monitoring and diagnostics. You can test what-if scenarios on the twin without ever disrupting the actual physical asset.
Very cool. And quality control.
AI-powered quality inspection and control is another area seeing huge impact. AI, especially computer vision, can identify microscopic defects, tiny cracks, misalignments, color variations on assembly lines with speed and accuracy far beyond human capability.
Better than human inspectors.
Often, yes, especially for high-volume, repetitive tasks. McKinsey data cited suggest up to 90% defect rate reductions in some cases. That means less scrap, less rework, fewer faulty products reaching customers. It's like having a tireless superhuman inspector scrutinizing every single item.
What about robotics?
Smart robotics and autonomous systems. AI gives robots much more sophisticated capabilities: object recognition, adaptive path planning, continuous learning from experience. This enables collaborative robots, or cobots, designed to work safely alongside humans on assembly lines. And autonomous mobile robots, AMRs, that can navigate dynamic environments like warehouses to pick and transport goods without predefined paths.
So, more flexible and intelligent automation.
Exactly. Increases flexibility, throughput, and often improves safety. This also connects to the evolution from basic robotic process automation, RPA, to intelligent process automation, IPA.
What's the difference there?
RPA is typically rules-based automation, mimicking human clicks and keystrokes for simple, repetitive, structured tasks, like processing invoices or basic data entry. IPA combines RPA with AI technologies like NLP, machine learning, computer vision.
Making the automation smarter.
Much smarter, more adaptive, more resilient. IPA can handle more complex, less structured tasks. Think of moving beyond just automating password resets to having a virtual assistant that can understand the nuances of a customer email, synthesize information from multiple systems, maybe even detect the customer's frustration from their language and decide whether to handle it automatically or escalate to a human agent. It significantly expands the scope and strategic impact of automation.
And this frees up people for higher value work.
Absolutely. Think about HR again. IPA can handle much of the routine onboarding paperwork, benefits administration queries, initial resume screening. This frees up HR professionals to focus on strategic workforce planning, complex employee relations, talent development, leadership coaching, cultivating organizational culture, the uniquely human aspects of HR. AI tools can even help them design more personalized employee experiences or identify potential bias in talent processes.
Okay, let's shift focus again to something every business cares deeply about: the customer. How is AI revolutionizing customer experience, CX, and value?
This is another area where the impact is just immense. AI enables what the book calls a rich, multidimensional, and continuously updated 360-degree view of the customer. That phrase has been around, but AI actually makes it achievable.
How so? What's different now?
It starts with holistic data integration and synthesis. AI can ingest and, crucially, make sense of vast amounts of both structured data, your CRM records, purchase history, ERP data, and unstructured data. Things like website clickstreams, transcripts from call center interactions, social media mentions, reviews, even data from IoT devices, if applicable.
Bringing it all together.
Yes, and finding meaningful patterns and correlations across all these disparate sources to create a truly comprehensive, dynamic picture of each customer. It's about understanding the whole customer, not just isolated interactions.
And it goes beyond what customers explicitly tell us.
Definitely. AI can uncover latent needs and intent. By applying sophisticated NLP to customer feedback, support tickets, survey responses, online reviews, AI can identify underlying pain points or unspoken desires that customers might not even articulate clearly themselves.
Finding the needs behind the words.
Exactly. And analyzing behavior, like browsing patterns on your website or app usage, can help infer future purchase intent. This allows for proactive, highly relevant engagement before the customer even starts actively searching for something.
Getting ahead of the customer's journey.
Right. AI also helps us understand context and nuance in a way traditional analytics just can't. It can differentiate sentiment more accurately, even detecting sarcasm or subtle emotional shifts in text or voice interactions. It pieces together fragmented interactions across different touchpoints, website, chat, email, store visit, into a coherent narrative.
Seeing the whole story.
Yes, and it can correlate customer behavior with external factors. Did they interact after seeing a specific marketing campaign? Does their sentiment change based on news events? Even things like weather can be factored in. This contextual awareness makes interactions feel much more relevant and personalized.
And these customer profiles aren't static.
Not at all. That's a key difference. AI enables dynamic and evolving customer profiles. These are living profiles that continuously learn and adapt in real time with each new interaction, each new piece of behavioral data, each external signal. The system refines its understanding constantly.
Which leads to better personalization.
Exactly. Highly personalized experiences that adapt as the customer's needs, preferences, or context changes. This directly feeds into real-time modeling and adaptation. Because AI can process these interaction signals almost instantaneously, it enables some powerful applications.
Like what?
Like dynamic personalization of content. Right. Modifying your website layout, the product recommendations shown, the specific offers presented all in real time based on that customer's current behavior, their location, maybe even their inferred emotional state based on how they're interacting.
Tailoring the experience on the fly.
Precisely. It also enables contextual assistance and proactive support, offering immediate relevant help based on what the customer is doing right now. Maybe they seem to be struggling with an online form. AI can proactively offer help or clarification, or if they're lingering on a complex product page, it could trigger a targeted chat prompt.
Anticipating needs.
Yes, and it could orchestrate the entire journey through adaptive journey orchestration, guiding customers through optimal personalized paths, seamlessly transitioning them between channels, like web to app to human agent, and adjusting the information flow and communication style to maximize understanding and conversion. It's about making the entire journey smooth and relevant.
AI-powered predictive analytics must play a huge role here, too.
Absolutely fundamental. Things like churn prediction. AI analyzes usage patterns, purchase history, service interaction data, social sentiment, and other signals to forecast which customers are at high risk of leaving.
Allowing you to intervene.
Exactly. Enabling proactive retention strategies, maybe a personalized offer, targeted outreach from a support specialist, or addressing the specific issue driving their dissatisfaction before they actually leave. Similarly, customer lifetime value, CLV, prediction.
Forecasting future revenue from a customer.
Right, predicting the total future value a customer will bring. This helps businesses optimize resource allocation, maybe investing more in retaining high CLV customers, identifying your most valuable clients, and tailoring service levels to strengthen those key relationships. A SaaS company, for instance, might use AI-predicted CLV to assign dedicated account managers only to its highest potential clients.
Makes sense. What about marketing moments?
That's where micro-moment marketing comes in. AI helps capitalize on those fleeting I want to know, I want to go, I want to do, or I want to buy moments, delivering hyper-relevant content, ads, or offers precisely when the customer demonstrates intent at scale. Think getting that perfectly timed ad for the exact flight route you were just researching right when you're ready to book.
That can be powerful, if done well.
If done well, yes. And finally, AI-powered dynamic pricing. This is becoming increasingly common, especially online. AI engines continuously analyze a multitude of factors: real-time demand, competitor pricing, inventory levels, customer segment characteristics, even external factors like weather or local events to determine the optimal price point for a product or service at that specific moment.
Aiming to maximize revenue or profit.
Or conversion, depending on the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
It moves pricing from static lists to a dynamic, constantly optimized system. So you could really see how deeply AI can permeate and elevate almost every aspect of strategic and operational leadership, transforming decision-making, efficiency, customer engagement. The list goes on.
It's truly transformative.
And if you're finding these insights compelling, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I need to understand this better, I need practical strategies for my own leadership and my organization, then you absolutely need to explore the source we're drawing from today.
We've been pulling these incredible insights directly from the book Intelligent Advantage by Ryan Beckett. It really is an essential guide for any leader who's serious about harnessing AI for their organization's future success. And frankly, its enduring relevance.
It lays out the blueprint.
It really does. Don't just listen to us talk about the possibilities. Make them a reality for your leadership journey. Head over to Amazon. Just search for Intelligent Advantage by Ryan Beckett. It's truly an investment in your future leadership, and it's packed with even more actionable strategies and deeper dives than we can possibly cover here.
Definitely recommend picking it up. Now, should we talk about how AI is fundamentally reshaping innovation itself?
Let's do it. Okay, moving on from operations and CX, let's talk about innovation reimagined. The traditional innovation pipeline. Well, it could often be quite slow, right? Resource-intensive and definitely susceptible to human biases.
Oh, absolutely. Things like confirmation bias, where you unconsciously seek out data that confirms your existing beliefs about an idea, or anchoring bias, getting stuck on the first piece of information you receive, and the classic not invented here syndrome, where great ideas from outside are dismissed. It could be a long, high-risk, and often frustrating process.
So how does AI change that?
AI truly transforms innovation. It shifts it from being a linear, often siloed process into a dynamic, ongoing organizational capability. It enables exploring a vastly wider range of ideas with much greater insight, allows for more rigorous validation of concepts, and facilitates really rapid iteration cycles.
Making that fail fast, learn faster mantra more achievable.
Genuinely more achievable, yes, because AI provides the tools to accelerate both the detection of potential failure points in an idea and, crucially, the extraction of valuable learning from experiments in a much more data-rich way. It helps turn innovation into an accelerating continuous loop, not just a series of one-off projects.
One of the most exciting areas here seems to be generative design and intelligent R&D. Can you unpack those?
Sure. In generative design, AI acts almost like a co-creator, not just an analytical tool helping you evaluate your own ideas.
A co-creator? How?
You, the human designer or engineer, input the functional requirements, the constraints like materials, cost, manufacturing methods, and the performance goals for something you want to create, maybe a physical object, a component, a system layout. The AI then generates literally hundreds, sometimes thousands, of potential design options that meet those criteria.
Designs humans might not think of.
Exactly. It often uses techniques like topology optimization to find novel shapes and structures. Think lighter yet stronger brackets for an airplane, or more efficient heat sinks for electronics. It pushes the boundaries of what's considered possible from a design perspective.
Okay, that's generative design. What about intelligent R&D?
Intelligent R&D is about using AI to accelerate the research process itself. AI can analyze vast scientific literature, patent databases, complex experimental data sets at a scale and speed impossible for human researchers.
Finding hidden connections.
Yes. Identifying novel connections between disparate fields of study, accelerating hypothesis generation, what if we combined X and Y, predicting the likely outcomes of experiments before you even run them in the lab, simulating molecular interactions for drug discovery, or speeding up breakthroughs in material science by predicting properties of new compounds. It fundamentally accelerates the pace of scientific and technical discovery.
So AI becomes both a creative and an engineering partner.
Amplifying human ingenuity, exactly. AI also acts as a powerful catalyst for ecosystem innovation.
Innovation beyond your own company walls.
Yes. Fostering deeper, more dynamic, and more intelligent collaboration across entire business ecosystems that includes your suppliers, your strategic partners, distributors, sometimes even customers. AI-driven integration is the key enabler here.
How does AI drive that integration?
Well, for instance, it facilitates enhanced supply chain visibility and resilience. Imagine AI systems sharing anonymized data across partners to predict disruptions further up the chain and proactively reroute shipments or adjust production plans, benefiting everyone.
So shared intelligence for collective benefit.
Right. It enables truly collaborative product development.
Right.
Think shared digital twin environments, where engineers from multiple partner companies can co-create and test designs together in real time. Or concepts like federated generative design, where different organizations contribute their expertise and data to a shared design challenge while keeping their core proprietary information secure.
Interesting. What else?
AI also drives hyper-personalized customer experiences through seamless partner integration, weaving together services or products from multiple providers into a single, cohesive, and delightful journey for the end user. Think travel platforms integrating flights, hotels, tours from different partners based on AI-driven personalization.
Hey.
And critically, it supports shared data platforms for collective insights, allowing, say, a consortium of retailers to pool anonymized sales data to identify emerging consumer trends faster than any single retailer could alone, helping all members adapt more quickly.
This really broadens the scope of where AI adds value. It brings us to a truly crucial concept the book highlights, one that really changes the competitive game, the rise of algorithmic advantage.
Yes, this is fundamental. For centuries, competitive advantage was often about tangible things controlling scarce resources, like land or raw materials, having unique patents, achieving economies of scale in manufacturing, building a strong brand.
Right, traditional sources of advantage.
Now, AI introduces a new, incredibly potent and often more durable source of advantage: the superior ability to leverage proprietary algorithms, unique data assets, and continuous learning loops to make better predictions, automate complex decisions, and deliver personalized experiences at scale. That's algorithmic advantage.
So advantage comes from the intelligence itself, from the code and data.
Exactly. And this algorithmic advantage isn't just one thing. It has several key compounding components. It all starts, as always, with data as fuel. High-quality, proprietary, unique, diverse, and voluminous data sets are the absolute lifeblood. But critically, The distinctiveness and relevance of your data are often just as important, if not more important, than sheer volume. Do you have data your competitors don't?
Data becomes a strategic asset in itself.
Absolutely. Then there's algorithmic refinement and adaptation. It's not enough to just build a good model once. The advantage comes from continuously retraining and refining those machine learning models, improving their accuracy and efficiency through ongoing optimization. This is often automated through MLOs, machine learning operations, which streamlines the whole cycle of building, deploying, and monitoring AI models.
So the algorithms themselves get better over time.
Constantly improving, and the result of better data and better algorithms. Ultimately, improved user experience and outcomes. This leads to demonstrably superior products, services, or experiences for your customers. Think more relevant recommendations on Netflix, less downtime for your cloud services, more accurate medical diagnoses from an AI tool, or more precise fraud detection, protecting your bank account.
And better experiences lead to?
Increased user engagement, acquisition, and loyalty. Superior AI-powered experiences naturally attract more users, encourage them to engage more deeply with your platform or service, and crucially, generate even more data.
Fueling that self-improving learning loop.
Exactly. It becomes a virtuous cycle. More data leads to better algorithms, which leads to better experiences, which attracts more users, which generates more data, and so on.
A flywheel effect.
Precisely. And this creates powerful network effects, especially evident in platform businesses, social media, marketplaces, operating systems. More users lead to more data, which allows the platform's AI to become better at matching buyers and sellers, recommending content, connecting people, or personalizing the experience for everyone. This makes the platform increasingly valuable as it grows, creating powerful winner-takes-most or even winner-takes-all dynamics in many markets. It becomes very hard for new entrants to compete once a platform achieves that scale and data advantage.
The strategic implications of this algorithmic advantage are, well, huge. How does it change things like intellectual property?
That's a great question. Intellectual property is reimagined. True, defensible IP in the AI age often lies less in a single static patent for, say, a specific algorithm, which might be easily replicated or quickly outdated, and more in the synergistic combination of things. Your proprietary model architecture, your unique curated training data, the continuous feedback loops you've built to refine your AI, and the entire ecosystem of talent and processes supporting that ongoing development. It's dynamic, constantly evolving, and much harder to copy than a single piece of code.
So the advantage is in the whole learning system, not just one part.
Exactly, which signals a fundamental shift from static assets to dynamic learning capabilities. The strategic focus for companies needs to shift from merely accumulating fixed assets, like factories or patents, to building and cultivating dynamic, appreciating learning capabilities. That is, your organization's inherent ability to acquire the right data, develop insightful algorithms from it, iterate rapidly on those algorithms, and deploy them effectively at scale to create value. That learning capability is the core asset.
And you mentioned this can lead to markets consolidating.
Yes, often leading to winner-takes-most or even winner-takes-all dynamics. Because the advantages from data and algorithms compound so rapidly, it can lead to significant market concentration where one or two players dominate, creating formidable barriers to entry for competitors who arrive late or lack the necessary scale of data and refinement.
This must also change how companies are valued and assessed.
It absolutely does. It demands new metrics for competitive assessment and valuation. Traditional financial metrics, revenue, profit margins are still important, of course, but they're increasingly augmented by indicators of algorithmic prowess. Investors, analysts, potential acquirers are now scrutinizing things like, what's the size, quality, and uniqueness of your data sets? How accurate and predictive are your core algorithms compared to competitors? How quickly can you learn, iterate, and deploy new AI capabilities? What level of personalization can you achieve? How much of your customer engagement is directly driven by your AI features? These factors are becoming crucial differentiators in valuation and competitive analysis.
Okay, so AI offers immense power, algorithmic advantage, but all this power comes with significant responsibility, doesn't it?
Absolutely. As AI systems become more sophisticated, more embedded in critical decisions, and more autonomous, they inevitably introduce new complexities and new types of risk. Robust governance isn't just a nice-to-have, it's an absolute necessity.
And this isn't just a technical problem for the data science team to solve.
No, it's a leadership imperative. The book stresses that leaders must collaboratively define, adopt, and actively champion clear ethical principles to guide their organization's entire AI journey. It has to be driven from the top.
What are some of those core principles the book outlines?
Several key ones come up consistently. Fairness and non-discrimination is huge. Actively working to identify and mitigate algorithmic bias so your AI doesn't inadvertently perpetuate or even amplify existing societal inequities.
Making sure the AI isn't biased based on race, gender, etc.
Exactly. Then there's accountability and responsibility.
Right.
Clearly defining who is accountable when an AI system makes a mistake or causes harm. It can't just be the algorithm did it. There needs to be human accountability somewhere in the chain.
Transparency is important too, right? The black box problem.
Critically important, transparency and explainability, XAI, especially for high-impact applications like loan decisions, hiring, medical diagnoses, making the AI's decision-making process understandable to the humans involved, regulators, and those affected by the decisions. It shouldn't be a complete mystery.
What about human control?
That's human oversight. Ensuring appropriate levels of human involvement, judgment, and intervention remain, especially for critical or sensitive decisions. AI should augment, not entirely replace, human judgment in many cases. And of course, foundational principles like data privacy, system security, and overall safety are non-negotiable prerequisites.
And these principles can't just be words on a page.
No, they have to be translated from abstract ideas into practical guidelines, checklists, ethical review processes baked into the development lifecycle.
And beyond principles, there's active risk management.
Yes, comprehensive AI risk management.
Yes.
Systematically identifying, rigorously assessing, and proactively mitigating these new, often AI-specific risks. This includes technical risks like model drift, where performance degrades over time, but also security risks like adversarial attacks, where malicious actors try to fool your AI by subtly manipulating input data poisoning, or crafting inputs designed to cause misclassification, model evasion. And the inherent risks that come from a lack of interpretability in very complex models is a whole new risk landscape.
And the external legal landscape is changing too.
Constantly, leaders need processes for navigating the evolving regulatory and legal landscape. Staying abreast of new legislation like the EU AI Act, regulations in California, emerging frameworks elsewhere, and ensuring ongoing compliance. This is becoming a major strategic consideration.
How do organizations structure themselves for this?
They need clear roles, responsibilities, and oversight structures. This might mean establishing dedicated AI ethics boards or review councils within the company, perhaps appointing a chief AI ethics officer or similar role, and crucially, ensuring robust board-level oversight of the organization's overall AI strategy, its risks, and its ethical implications. The board needs to be asking the tough questions.
Given AI's growing economy, that concept of human-AI teaming and mitigating automation bias seems absolutely paramount.
It really is. The whole augmented executive model we've been discussing is fundamentally about fostering critical engagement between humans and AI, ensuring humans remain meaningfully in the loop or on the loop, depending on the context. It's about collaboration, not blind delegation or over-reliance.
What are some key strategies leaders can use to ensure that healthy collaboration and avoid just blindly trusting the AI?
The book suggests several critical strategies. First, leaders must demand transparency and explainability, XAI, whenever feasible. Insist on understanding why the AI is making a certain recommendation. Push for systems that can highlight the key data points driving a prediction or indicate their confidence level. Don't accept because the algorithm said so for important decisions.
Challenge the black box.
Exactly. Second, cultivate healthy skepticism. Treat AI insights, however impressive, as valuable inputs to be interrogated and validated, not as infallible directives from a digital oracle. Always ask probing questions about the AI's assumptions, its limitations, the data it was trained on. Maintain that critical thinking.
Don't turn off your own brain.
Precisely. Third, always triangulate insights. Never rely solely on the output of a single AI model or system for a critical decision. Cross-reference its recommendations with human expertise, your own intuition and experience, and other independent data sources or analyses. Look for convergence or divergence.
What about ultimate accountability?
That's key. Maintain human oversight. Especially for critical strategic decisions, AI should inform, provide options, generate scenarios, challenge assumptions, but it should not dictate the final choice. Final judgment, nuanced consideration of unquantifiable factors, and ultimate accountability must always remain with human leaders.
And you mentioned in the loop versus on the loop.
Yes, it's important to differentiate. Human in the loop typically means a human must actively approve each individual decision or transaction before the AI can proceed. This is suitable for very sensitive, high-stakes, or novel situations where errors are costly. Human on the loop means the AI operates largely autonomously, but with continuous human monitoring and the ability to step in, override, or fine-tune the system if needed. This is better for high-volume, lower-risk decisions where constant intervention isn't practical, but oversight is still required. Choosing the right level of oversight is critical.
And again, AI fluency for leaders is key here too.
Absolutely. Invest in AI fluency and continuous learning. Empowering leaders and teams to be discerning, critical, and effective users of AI tools is perhaps the best defense against automation bias. And fundamentally, organizations must regularly audit and validate AI systems. This isn't a one-time setup. It means implementing ongoing monitoring processes, testing for bias drift, retraining models as data patterns inevitably change over time, ensuring continued accuracy, fairness, and relevance. AI systems need ongoing care and feeding.
The book also details some recommended workflow elements for truly augmented decision-making, right? How to structure that human-AI interaction.
Yes, it emphasizes human-AI teaming. This means consciously designing processes that define complementary roles. Let AI handle the heavy lifting, processing vast data, identifying complex patterns, generating scenarios, making rapid predictions. But have humans focus on framing the critical questions, providing essential context the AI lacks, critically evaluating the AI's outputs for relevance and potential flaws, integrating qualitative factors, and ultimately making the final nuanced judgments.
So defining who does what best.
Exactly. For example, in a strategic risk assessment, AI might analyze market data, news feeds, internal reports to identify potential risks and even assign probabilities. But the human leadership team then takes that input, contextualizes those risks for their specific business strategy and risk appetite, critically evaluates the assumptions behind the AI's probabilities, brainstorms mitigation strategies, and makes the final strategic decisions about resource allocation and action plans.
And validation is built into this workflow.
It must be. Rigorous validation steps are crucial at multiple points. This includes data validation, checking input data for accuracy, completeness, representativeness, and potential biases before it even feeds the model. Then, model validation, understanding the AI model's purpose, its core assumptions, its known limitations, how it was trained. Then, output validation, sense-checking the AI's recommendations, cross-referencing them with other sources, stress-testing the predictions against different scenarios, what if X happens, and finally, impact validation after a decision is made based on AI input, continuously tracking the actual outcomes versus the AI's predictions to learn and refine the approach over time.
Closing the loop, which brings us to feedback.
Yes. Feedback loops are absolutely essential for continuous improvement of the entire human-AI system. This includes AI-to-human feedback. The AI needs to transparently communicate its insights, the data it relied on, maybe its confidence level, and crucially, human-to-AI feedback mechanisms for users to easily correct errors, provide new contextual information the AI missed, or rate the usefulness of AI outputs. This systematic feedback is what makes the system progressively smarter, more accurate, and better aligned with human goals and values over time.
Looking ahead now, what about the regulatory futures and ethical shifts? This seems like a major area of uncertainty for leaders.
It is, and it's a central strategic consideration that no leader can afford to ignore. The AI era is definitely not developing in a regulatory vacuum. Frameworks for AI governance, safety, and ethics are continuously evolving globally, sometimes very rapidly. Understanding and anticipating these shifts is vital.
So what practical steps can C-suite leaders take now to navigate this?
Several key things. First, active engagement in policy and standard setting. Where appropriate, contribute to the development of sensible, innovation-friendly policies through constructive engagement with policymakers, regulators, and industry consortia. Don't just wait for regulations to happen to you, participate in shaping them.
Be part of the conversation.
Exactly. Second, focus intensely on developing robust and agile internal AI governance frameworks. Establish clear internal policies, ethical principles, risk assessment processes, review boards, embed responsible practices into every stage of your AI lifecycle, from ideation to deployment and monitoring. Make it part of your organizational DNA.
And culture matters here too.
Critically, championing a culture of responsible AI from the top down is essential. Foster an environment where ethical considerations and responsible development are prioritized, discussed openly, and rewarded. This requires clear communication, comprehensive training programs, and incentivizing ethical behavior alongside performance goals.
And ensuring leaders themselves understand the stakes.
Yes, investing in that holistic AI fluency we talked about earlier, ensuring leaders grasp not only the technical and business aspects, but also the profound ethical and societal implications of the AI systems they deploy.
What about planning for uncertainty?
Strategic scenario planning is vital. Actively anticipate different potential regulatory futures and their impact on your business model, your product roadmap, your data strategies. Develop contingency plans. How would your business adapt if certain types of AI or data usage become restricted? Leveraging executive planning scenarios, maybe from analysts like Gartner, can be helpful here.
Ultimately, it comes down to trust.
I think so. Building trust as a strategic asset, demonstrating a clear, consistent commitment to ethical principles, responsible practices, and transparent governance isn't just about compliance. It's about enhancing your brand reputation, securing customer loyalty, attracting talent, and fostering broader societal acceptance and license to operate for your AI-driven initiatives. Trust is foundational. Hashtag check as they say.
Okay, we've covered a huge amount. Fluency, decision-making, governance. After all that, how can leaders or organizations actually assess where they stand right now? How do you gauge your AI readiness?
That's a great practical question. The book actually provides a framework for doing just that, allowing you to assess your organization's AI readiness across several key dimensions. One critical dimension, perhaps the starting point, is strategic alignment.
Assessing how well AI fits into the overall strategy.
Exactly. The objective here is to evaluate precisely how well AI is integrated into your core business strategy, and just as importantly, how strongly it's championed by a clear, unified executive vision.
What are some key checklist criteria for that?
The framework suggests asking questions like, does our C-suite actually share a clear, unified, and communicated vision for how AI will contribute to our strategic objectives? Is AI explicitly embedded within our formal corporate strategy documents? Do we have measurable business outcomes defined for our key AI initiatives? Does our leadership team actively prioritize AI initiatives based on strategic impact and potential ROI with appropriate resource allocation? And do we have a clear understanding of how our competitors are leveraging AI and how our strategy aims to build a sustainable competitive advantage, accounting for potential AI-driven disruptions?
So really probing the depth of strategic integration.
Yes, and the framework provides maturity levels, typically on a 1 to 5 scale for self-assessment.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Level 1 might be exploratory, characterized by isolated AI experiments, maybe proof of concepts, but minimal executive engagement or strategic linkage. Level 3 could be defined and aligning, where there's a formal AI vision emerging, some initial alignment with business goals, maybe a dedicated AI team forming. And level 5 would be embedded in core strategy, where AI is truly fundamental to how the business operates and competes, driving continuous strategic renewal, and the organization is perhaps recognized as an AI leader in its sector.
So it gives you a benchmark and a roadmap.
Exactly. It provides a tangible roadmap for growth, allowing you to pinpoint where you are today across different dimensions: strategy, data, talent, tech, governance, and identify the specific steps needed to move to the next level of maturity.
Looking even further ahead, AI itself isn't standing still, is it? The book likely touches on future trends and convergence.
Absolutely. AI is a rapidly evolving field, and its power is often exponentially amplified through convergence with other emerging technologies. The book explores several fascinating future trajectories of AI convergence.
Such as?
Well, obviously, foundation models and generative AI, which we've touched on. These large, versatile models are offering significant leaps in AI's ability to understand language, generate creative content, text, images, code, audio, and handle a much wider range of tasks with less specific training. Their power and broad applicability are also demanding very careful governance and ethical oversight.
What else is converging?
Multimodal AI. This is a huge area. Systems that can process, understand, and integrate information from multiple data types, simultaneously combining sight, images, video, sound, audio, speech, language, text, maybe even touch or other sensor data. This leads to a much richer, more holistic understanding of the world, closer to how humans perceive reality. Think AI that can watch a video, listen to the audio, and read accompanying text to understand the full context. This enables far more robust and adaptable applications across all industries, from more accurate medical diagnostics combining imaging and patient notes, to more engaging and personalized education adapting to student interaction.
And AI connecting with the physical world.
Yes, the artificial intelligence of things, AIoT. This is the convergence of AI and the Internet of Things. It's about embedding AI capabilities directly into connected devices, sensors, and edge computing platforms. This transforms networks of devices from just collecting data to being an intelligent, interactive system capable of localized sensing, automated decision-making right at the edge without always needing the cloud, enhancing operational efficiency in real time, like in smart factories or logistics, and enabling hyper-personalized experiences based on immediate physical context.
That sounds powerful. Anything further out?
Looking further out, there's the truly exciting, though still largely developmental, prospect of AI and quantum computing,
Yeah.
sometimes called quantum AI or quantum machine learning.
What's the potential there?
Quantum computing, if it matures, holds the potential to dramatically accelerate certain types of computations that are intractable for even the most powerful classical computers today. This could potentially revolutionize AI by massively speeding up the training of very complex AI models, solving highly complex optimization problems, like optimizing global supply chains with millions of variables or designing novel molecules, developing entirely new types of AI algorithms suited to quantum architectures, and accelerating fundamental breakthroughs in areas like material science and drug discovery by simulating quantum systems more accurately. The potential is immense, though still largely theoretical for most practical applications today.
So what are the strategic implications for leaders facing all this convergence?
The strategic implications of convergence are profound. First, it creates the potential for exponential, not just linear, innovation as these technologies amplify each other. Second, it will likely foster entirely new industries, business models, and ecosystems we can barely imagine today. Third, it significantly increases systemic complexity and interconnectedness, which absolutely requires even more robust adaptive governance and risk management frameworks. Fourth, it mandates broadened technological fluency for leaders. You'll need a conceptual grasp not just of AI, but of IoT, maybe edge computing, potentially even quantum concepts down the line. And finally, it demands highly adaptive leadership and organizational agility just to keep pace with the accelerating rate of change. Standing still is not an option.
Wow, is an incredible landscape. This deep dive into becoming the augmented executive, drawing from intelligent advantage, has really illuminated just how transformative AI is for leadership.
It really has. We've seen how AI fluency, leveraging AI for intelligent decision-making across the enterprise, and ensuring robust ethical governance aren't just, buzzwords or optional extras anymore. They are the absolute pillars upon which the future of effective executive leadership rests.
And maybe the truest form of that intelligent advantage the book talks about. Maybe it isn't just about having the smartest AI algorithms.
I think you're right. Perhaps it's really about building the smartest human-AI collaboration within your organization. That synergy between irreplaceable human judgment, creativity, strategic foresight, ethical reasoning, coupled with the analytical power, scale, and speed of AI.
Yeah.
That combination is where the real magic, the real sustainable advantage lies.
That's a great way to put it. So if you, our listener, want to explore all these concepts in much greater detail, if you want to equip yourself with the full strategic blueprint for leading effectively in this age of AI, we absolutely recommend you pick up Intelligent Advantage by Ryan Beckett.
It really is the comprehensive guide.
It is. You can find it easily on Amazon. Just search for the title, Intelligent Advantage by Ryan Beckett. It's a resource that will genuinely help you move from understanding the theory to putting practical implementation steps in place, helping you truly become an augmented executive.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Leading with AI podcast today. We really hope you feel more informed, maybe a bit inspired, and definitely more ready to lead in this new era.
We do too. Join us next time for another deep dive.